folks, we're back. Thanks for watching the ads. We're actually just waiting on Bly right now, so I thought this would be a good time to jump into one of these scratch and win cards as we try and see whether we can save esports. Now, for those who don't know, I specifically buy these because it's a little bit fun, but with the express intent and the actual genuine desire to win money to throw a Starcraft 2 tournament with. So I've never seen this type before, as apparently I got the wrong card. It's called Kuza. I'm going to read the instructions on the back. Match any of your numbers to any of the Kuza numbers. Win corresponding prize for that number. So I guess what I do is where are the Kuza numbers? Oh, I see. So there's a row of like 6 at the top. 5. And I guess if I get any of those matched, I'll win a prize. I honestly don't know how this one works. Alright, let's... I don't know. I need to find my tripod at some point so I can set this up better. While I do this, do we have the lobby up yet?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get our Kuza numbers. Stupid. Alright, here we go. In the lobby, we'll just do this quickly. Let's find out what the numbers are real quick. See how this works. Alright, 6. Oh, webcam. Alright, 6, 16, 21, 9, and 37. Okay, these are our lucky numbers. Pray for 6, 16, 21, 9, or 37. I don't know what the range on these things are. Like, if there's going to be like, you can get numbers between 1 and 100, I'll be pissed. Oh, I see how the prize works. So if you match like one of the numbers here, it's like, oh, you win $5 if you had 21 and so forth. And my whole desk is shaking doing this. So far, no good. Come on, guys. Where's that esports luck? Somebody cheer harder.
I'm rubbing my hands together.
Row of 20s. Got nothing.
Lame.
Alright, 36. I'm actually, what, can I just scratch the top number and look at the prize later? I can. Because who cares about the prize if you don't win the numbers? Nothing, nothing, nothing. Alright, we got one more row to go, and then we'll get in a game. Because players are finally in the lobby with us. Alright, 14, 2. Man, this is so tilting. There's like a 36 and a 37, like so close. 8's nothing. I had a 9 and an 8. This is just a tease. A 4. It's nothing. Got nothing. No esports luck today. That last one was a 17 to the 16 number up top. That's some bullshit. Now we get some extra ones here. I don't know what this is for. Let's scratch this real quick. Nope. Alright, guys. Let's hop in a game. Better luck next time. Getting into map number 1 in the semifinals for this week's Corsair Cup. Ladies and gentlemen, we got in the top right, the blue Zerg. He's a little bit scary sometimes. It's Bly.
In the bottom left is the red Protoss. He is Ting's Neeb.
Now, it's worth noting we've actually had Bly beat Neeb straight up. And I would say most of the times because Neeb just doesn't know how to deal with Bly's abuse. The dude plays in scary ways. But the last few times we've seen Bly, he's actually been playing a lot more normal games.
Yeah. Not nearly as many early pools or drop overlords or whatever. I do think that it's still like a good plan against Neeb. If you're gonna fall back to something you know you're good at, then that's perfectly fine for Bly versus Neeb. But Neeb is not Neeb from a year ago. He doesn't quite get as snowball tilted. He doesn't quite die as often to the shenanigans. But Bly was the only guy that could tear down Neeb when Neeb was on like an absolute tear through the Ting Open, I believe.
And that was through really weird things too, like proxy hatcheries and what have you. By the way, I guess Bly did defeat this guy. Thank you for the host. Mana just throwing some viewers our way. I hope you had a good stream, dude. I saw you streaming a little bit before the cup started today, but thank you for the host. It's much appreciated.
Oh. Probe Scout would ideally be able to stick around until he sees the third base as well, just to be sure, but might not, might just leave. I mean, Proxima is a pretty good standard first map here, and it is the default map, so no one chose this. It's nice to have the semifinals. You can get 3 bases very easily off of, and still have a wide variety of choices for your own build. So I definitely say that Stargate's the most popular, just like amongst most of the matchups, but Twilight Council, Robo, sure, why not? Still see the DT drops. I don't think I've seen Neeb do the double Warp Prism DT drops yet, but that is also big lately.
Well, Warp Prism is really interesting. I really like the idea of double Warp Prism, and we've actually talked about this many times on the cast. It was, however, a bit strange when we were interviewing Drogo the other day, Sekiro, and he actually talked about how much he thought they were bad, and I was like, really? Because Drogo's a player I hold to high regard, and it was a bit surprising to hear that.
I thought he said that if it was done really well, it was super abusive. But maybe I'm mixing my Protosses here.
I may have misinterpreted it. I heard that, and I just heard him basically say, like, it's not worth doing, it's no good.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm actually, like, having a really hard time remembering where I read something or heard something. It
doesn't really matter for now either way, because Neeb's not heading in that direction. In fact, the Stargate's going to be finishing up here in just a moment's time. And Neeb is, I really like, above all else, his control. You can talk about the grind, you can talk about whatever for the, I guess, unit composition or balance, but at the end of the day, Neeb controls his units really well. So Oracles here have given him some sick wins with like clutch stasis traps, things we just don't see any other player doing.
Yeah.
Like that sequencer game on the map test tournament, which by the way, I'm actually pretty happy sequencer is going to be in the next map pool, but that sequencer game, Nurchio versus Neeb, look it up on YouTube if you need to. It was like the craziest comeback I've ever seen in a PvZ matchup.
So thank you to Philly Kitty for the new sub. I said that right? Yeah, Philly Kitty. The Twitch Prime sub. But something that kind of important happened. The Adept was barely stopped from seeing that third base, and the second Adept could not get back in there either. So if the Adept gets into third base, easy peasy, it can shade around and buy time to ideally see if there's any drones going over there or there's any links popping out. And he actually managed to miss both. He missed these links within the middle of the map, so that's why he tried to start a Nexus. That's really bad. His Oracle's being miscontrolled because of it. There are drops on the way. He didn't wall off the main, and this is just snowballed pretty hard already.
Okay, so I talked about good control, and again, I am full of caster curses today, right?
Yeah.
But Neeb flubs in many different ways, and some of it was to the scout, which I don't think was such a big deal in terms of general gameplay, but the fact that this really screwed him up is quite evident by the way he's handling the situation. I mean, he's still bleeding out probes. Well, let's not forget, let's say the wall-off did secure the base. There's 2 drop overloads ready to bring more lings in.
Exactly. I mean, that Adept's kind of the third. Obviously, the third came down. It was more that the second Adept had no opening because the first one died so easily. The second one's supposed to be able to get like a little bit longer on the map, and he just sent that right back, so he entirely missed 20, 30 lings going to the middle of the map, and that's not supposed to happen with Adepts on the field and an Oracle on the field.
Do need to bring up, though, this is really dedicated out of Bly. Like, if he can't actually get a win out of this, he will end up behind. So he's in a decent position. I think he's actually quite deadly right now, but if for whatever reason Neeb finds a way to hold on, Bly could himself end up being in trouble for this.
Well, it's a very smart thing to put that pylon down. It has a bit of health to hold on. Even with the Overlord drop still being accessible, they are still, only able to carry so many lings. And it looks like Neeb has definitely had the situation calm down. Bly, in fact, might have been way, way better off trying to drone a little bit earlier. He has more lings on the way and only just started a drone round, and he's still only at 20. So he does need to do damage with this. Yeah,
and it just goes back to that point where this was so dedicated out of him. I feel like that first attack actually went so well, I would have loved to have seen him drone up immediately after that.
Yeah.
Instead of continuing with the extra 30-plus lings that were made. In fact, excuse me, I say 30, 85 lings, excuse me.
I was going to say, like, it was like 30 and then 30 and then 30, so there's definitely a lot, so I definitely agree. Maybe not after the first attack, but certainly after the second, as you see that there were 6 Adepts that were alive and with each other. Lings are going to have a very hard time breaking that, right? So, might have been a better move. He is droning now, and he's droning as hard as he can.
And it is worth noting, this extra set of lings that just came in through that Overlord, I think they were actually just picked up and dropped, not new ones, but point is, they got a few more kills. Bringing this up to now 37 to 37 on that worker count Bly no longer so far behind that he's out of the game. In fact, as we look at the income graph, it normalizes very quickly as those extra probes died.
Yeah, so that was pretty important. Makes a lot of drones, kills just the right amount, brings it back to even. He didn't kill a lot of the Adepts, though, so there is going to be a counterattack. But Neeb didn't get his third base, and he didn't get any more tech. And Phoenixes, you know, he doesn't really want Phoenixes anymore. He wants something that's going to be beneficial for his Adepts, and unfortunately that was just, you know, Play Council only just finishing.
So Bly just scouted this attack coming, so he knows not to continue droning. But the Baneling Nest is so far out, I don't think that's going to be factoring into this. But with 33-something Lings and a couple Queens, I think defending this should actually be possible. Especially with that 10 HP nerf.
But it's like kind of a reverse situation now, though. Like, it's going to be a lot of damage and a lot of time taken up. That Bly isn't like going to his lair, right, or getting his Roach Warren, or getting his evolution chambers up. Although his +1 is already on the way. But Neeb's gonna cut his losses, it looks like, or maybe join up with more Depths. Maybe he's joining with his Oracle. Which I can't tell.
I don't think he can do anything.
He's not gonna go for it.
He did force a substantial amount of Lings out of Bly, so maybe for him, in Neeb's mind, that's mission accomplished. You know, you stop Bly from just blindly droning and getting like 50 workers, 40 worker heads, but I don't know. Like this is now a dangerous position for Neeb. As you point out, +1 weapons is almost done. The Baneling Nest did finish, so he might just be able to bust through the front. If Neeb's not paying attention, if he misses just one of these force fields, and a couple of those Banelings get the just right hits, this could fall apart for Neeb.
A little bit scary. It looks like almost a bait from Bly. Send his Lings right there, but Neeb's still comfortable in that choke. No Spore Clouds are ever put down. The Oracle died so quickly and just everything was happening, so
yeah.
Oracle.
I will say with 3 drones having died to that Oracle, I would still say it wouldn't have been worth the Spore Crawler. Maybe evenly, barely type thing, but while this continues to advance, Resonating Glaze finishes up here momentarily, and Bly still does not have a substantial army. There's not a lot of Banelings, there's not a lot of Lings. He's going for a gold base, which I like the idea of, but Neeb is getting to this point where Brute Force might just be better than what Bly has.
We have Bly completely missing the army running to the middle of the map this time, so caught on the wrong side of the rocks.
He would have been better off finishing off the rocks, I think.
Yeah, right? Like, I think he was probably deciding that entire time, like, do I finish the rocks or do I respawn, so. Tough choice. The Adepts could maybe get into a more complicated position for the Lings as well.
Like the mineral lines, for example.
Got pretty close. The point is the Banelings are in here, and the -10 health doesn't
change their damage. They still melt through those Lings very quickly. Banelings get some pretty good connections, if we're going to be honest, but there's still a lot of Adepts standing. They're spread out, they're killing drones, and Bly went from like a pretty close worker count down 24. Excuse me, down more, because the Spore Crawler wasn't made, so now the Spore Crawler would have been worthwhile. 32 workers to 69. Neeb can easily slap down a 4th base too, which is what he's doing as we speak. Oh boy.
That Adept thing was a little bit risky. If he was caught in the middle of the map, he might not have been so willing to commit, but damn, did it work out. Now his upgrades are even. In fact, they're going to advance past that of Bly. Bly let his 4th base finish. You know, that wasn't attacked, so he can transfer whatever drones he does have to a gold, and that will help. But to lose 20+ drones might be too much.
Yeah, that's rough. I like this sort of like paw print of pylons coming down at the front. A lot of overcharges can buy a lot of time, but it's also extra SimCity for the force fields to complement with if there's Banelings or such rolling in. I think, though, a gold base is interesting. Bly being down workers the way he is, you know, you need less workers to fully saturate a gold base. Maybe this puts the income a little bit closer than we expected, because right now they're actually kind of close on minerals per minute.
Yeah, I mean, 10 more drones. But Neeb is just now waiting for his army to reach critical mass. So +2, probably another Warping of Adepts, I suppose. Oh, you got Charge, actually, so maybe Charge. Maybe Zealots. Spire's on the way for Bly, but I think Neeb's going to be attacking him before that Spire is done. Not that he could get that many mutas anyway.
Yeah, I think for Bly, this Spire may have been like a long-term plan, though. Like, if he found a way to hold on, get to Greater Spire, that might just be his chance to win a game against a composition like this, but time is not his friend in this case.
He really needed that gold base. I mean, wise to give it up. No way to defend it, but he needed that. 4 more Archon, still sentries with a lot of force field energy. Don't think his Baneling's gonna get great hits anytime soon. Killing blow.
GG. Alright, so a little bit anticlimactic there at the end, but I think a good fight out of both overall. Like, Neeb's mistakes in the early game combined with a couple moves out of Bly, this could have been over. Whoops, sorry, my camera's all fucked. The other way sooner. Here, I'm just holding my camera. You guys can deal with this weird point of view. I love when your camera's angled low. It doesn't make anybody look good.
Nope.
But okay, we'll get to game number 2 in just a moment. Big thank yous to Fruslag, just subbed brand new. Welcome to the Base Trade Brigade. And of course, we've had bits flying back and forth. Currently, Bit Boss is Nexikuro. Thank you so much. Getting to game number 2 here. ASAP. Other side of the bracket, Euthermal versus Keen is a TVT that we will be casting after this. And we still got that Corsair sort of giveaway thing going on. We've had more people tweeting us picture of their gear. If you guys don't know what we're doing right now, whether you got... Here, I'm actually going to use my camera instead of the screen region button because it'll work better. Because screen regioning is broken for me right now, for those who don't know. Whether you're using power supplies, keyboards, RAM, tweet us pictures at BaseTradeTV of your Corsair setup. And we'll be sending a prize out to one of the folks randomly at the end of stream today. And if you don't know what the prize is, it's going to be the very rare, super exclusive Hell It's a Boot Time in-game portrait code. There is literally no way to get this. You can't buy this anywhere. You can only get it through us. So, whether you've got an attempt at fake gear, Razor, or whether you're using real, actual quality gear, send us those tweets, guys. Want to see them coming. A lot of people actually with Corsair gear. That's awesome to see. But anyways, Belshire Vestige awaits. Let's not dilly-dally. Hop into game.
What do you think dilly-dallying came from?
Dilly-dally, shilly-shally.
What is that?
Cloud.
Dilly-dally, shilly. Oh, God. Wow. Man, I didn't expect to hear that reference from you.
Fantasy reference. I know.
Advent Children, though. Like,
you know what? I know a lot of people did not enjoy that movie. I fucking loved it. Cheesy bits are my favorite when they're all throwing Cloud to the sky, right? Like each one's got like a different way to
you always talk about that, and I always gotta bring up my point where I just like it was a test thing, right? They kind of stringed together all their tests and decided to make a movie. So like for the fact the dialogue was like whatever and the plot kind of like whatever and whatever, it didn't matter. Everyone just hyped that something from Final Fantasy VII, and I can respect that.
Hell yeah.
What I didn't like was that Tetsuya Nomura, like the art designer and then even the lead designer, right? I used to really like the guy. I thought it was so just like dumb of him to just like start pointing out all these like symbolic elements he put into the movie and how Americans just probably wouldn't understand that because Americans don't think about symbolism as much. I'm just like, what?
It sounds like you got personally offended by this, man. What? I'm sorry.
I got offended for all of America.
That sounds that sounds like the state of America right now, if we're going to be honest. Like, I'm going to be offended on behalf of everybody.
It's so America. But you know what? We got something more important. Let's do the intros.
Yeah, top left side of the map, we got the blue Zerg player. It's Bly, who's going to be fending off against what?
A cannon Russian red Protoss named Neeb.
Now, this is cute, because I want to make this, like, I don't think this is a BM move out of Neeb where it's like, oh, Bly, I'm so much better than you. I'm going to troll face you with a build. But cannons have actually sort of been coming back into favor. We've actually seen it more in PvP than anything else.
Yeah. I think if you are going to do it versus Zerg, you should do the gateway variation. But that's just like my opinion, man. So... it is seen now, of course, but Bly's already finished the hatchery, so it's a little bit too late.
Oh, he doesn't... That friggin' regen between the two shots! One health that drone manages to get out to build a third.
Yeah. That is nice for Bly to have that option open there. Don't have to be quite as worried about being contained literally on one base. But Neeb scouts it.
He gassed.
Could just send like a Zealot or Adept over there. Yeah.
Alright, well, the hatchery is guaranteed to die. What I like about this base, though, is not that Bly takes this and I think looks at it for, like, mining purposes, but two really important things about it. First off, he managed to sneak Lings by the cannon to guarantee that there'd be no probe throwing up a new cannon rush on this base. So this will finish. Secondly, as we can see, he wanted to do it, right? Secondly, it's the move towards roaches I find really interesting. Roaches and Ravagers will break the cannons if necessary, but coming from this base can get across the map, and Bly realizes there's not much at home.
No, but that's the kind of important distinction between the Gateway version and the Forge-only version, which is that there's an Adept to protect this further cannon rush, right? But there's also that advancement in tech, so you're literally not just on a Forge the entire time. He's already producing Adepts. He can already get a Mothership Core, and of course, you really need it. You can get cannons.
I think one of the small saving graces for Bly, other than having Sonic the Hedgehog in his army, is that he does realize that this was one base for so long. That Neeb wasn't getting massively ahead through this cannon rush through economy. So this attack coming, like this is actually going to be a considerable army supply that will break 3 cannons and should be able to then march across the map and maybe punish Neeb for this. But a miscontrol on that one roach, they costed its life, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. I love the little fuzzy coats that the roaches Ravagers wear. By fuzzy, I mean very spiky.
Like Terran have the winter skins for like Nova and stuff, right? I guess this is what I would imagine the Zerg winter skin would be. You got to put on like a fur coat. Extreme weather conditions.
Extreme, yeah.
There's actually a lot of symbolism to the spikes on the back of these Ravagers. You might not have noticed as an American. But.
It just tilts me so much, man. Actually, okay, so third base goes down, has to remake his natural after all. Really sucks here, and they're well, okay, double expanding is probably a good idea, but you know, the one saving grace was that Neeb didn't have his own Nexus. Well, now he does, and he has Stargate Tech.
Well, I'm more interested in Bly's choice to play it slow behind it, right? Like the Overlord sitting on top of the natural for so long, he knows that those Ravagers could have bust that pylon easy peasy, and then maybe done a bit more. I mean, this is the I don't know if there's a phrase for it, but the most lone pylon to power multiple buildings. Should this one have gone down, this could have unpowered everything.
That's a good point. I mean,
what would you even call something like that?
I don't know.
I mean, the way I'm describing it is such a mouthful. It'd be really nice if there's just like one unified phrase you could use. Oh well.
Oh well, I guess there's nothing.
If it was Chinese, I bet I'd have a phrase for it. Okay. I'm not earning brownie points with Artosis anytime soon. We all know it's an Artosis pylon, but the point is, at the end of the day, Neeb does get the second pylon up and running. So should this have been bust, he'd still have his production. Because in the main, like, what did he have to fall back on? But like one gateway that's only just finished up. So perhaps all that potential wasted with a question mark, or maybe just wouldn't have been worth it for Bly either way. Regardless, though, he's done no damage to counter and just bleeds out little units here and there, and the oracles are causing more chaos. I love the idea of the double expand, but not if you can't protect both the bases.
Oh, good try,
of the
Queen.
Bases.
God, it looked like the shade just exploded the Ravager.
Does it actually like, cool. Yeah, it was like a body slam into it. It just made it explode.
Yeah, Bly just looks to really be be in a bad spot here. You know, he made a couple of units because he really had to. I mean, he had to bust out of the cannons, but to lose 2 hatcheries.
Actually, can we discuss the resources / units lost tab right now? Mother of God. Sure. He's lost 2 adepts. That's it.
Oh, wow, he didn't even lose the probe that was building the cannons. Wow.
No, that's right. He microed it back, right? It barely got away from that link because the adept came in to save it. So it's just like, punch in the gut for poor Bly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in Bly's defense, by the way, sorry, just to finish off that point, I don't think he's probably seen a cannon rush in God knows how long. I don't actually blame him for not handling this like the best way possible.
Oh, I agree. Plus, there is a certain point of just no return for a cannon rush. You know, whether it's Haas throwing down 17 cannons with a Frontier Natural, or it's just smart follow-up play from the Protoss, like, and you didn't scout the cannon rush fast enough. That is, you actually may not be able to do very much against it. So, it does suck. That's a lot of adepts. And while the roach numbers are big enough to deal with them, they're just going to do what they do best, which is not necessarily being tanky, although that was certainly one of their best features, but it's also just how quickly they kill drones. And how they're not.
I'm crying for poor Bly right now. He's down to 17 workers.
Yeah. Score Color could actually be targeted to let the Oracles do a little bit more damage later on.
The Oracles might just finish it. I mean, it's so low, it doesn't really matter. Either way, 18 workers, 3 bases, no money for Bly. His army's not too bad, if we're going to be honest, but there's only so much Roaches can do. And with Immortals coming out behind this, force fields aplenty. God.
It's going to become a bad army. GG.
All right, well, let's get some Neeb hype in the building. We're going to have him going straight to the finals, where he'll fight off against a Terran player in either Euthermal or Keen, which we'll be doing next. Also, my webcam up here has been put down next to my mouse, which looks really cool, like a race car. Boom, boom. Oops. I'm using the scimitar for those who don't know. So Corsair was awesome. They gave us like a choice of mice to use. I play a lot of World of Warcraft on the side, so the scimitar was a really nice pick. But the cool thing about it, and this doesn't matter whether you're playing MMOs or not, this little keypad on the side here, the extra buttons, you can actually adjust that and like slide it forward or back depending on like how comfortable you are with your thumb positioning. So I like that quite a bit. Anyways, nerding out about the gear aside, if you guys do want to buy any Corsair gear, use our affiliate links down below. There's the shout out, but we are going to a commercial break. And when we get back, TVT to see who goes on to the grand finals. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.